Hey friends, I'm Chris Schufel with Chris in the Classroom, and today I'm going to tell you everything that's wrong with you. Tell me if this has ever happened to you. Has anyone ever pointed out something that you did wrong, but they did it in a way and in a tone of voice that seems kind of mean? Or has anyone ever tried to tell you to change something and you think, you could have said that a little nicer? Or has anyone ever told you something like your shoe is untied, or your clothes don't match, or you have a booger hanging out of your nose, and you think, well, that was rude.
Stop. You're going to take someone's eye out. Besides, you're saying it wrong.
Hardly anyone likes to be told negative things, especially if it's done in a way that we think is rude or sarcastic or mean, or feels like we're being attacked in some way. But sometimes we will be criticized. All of us. Now, criticizing or criticism is when we find fault in someone or something. We see the problems, the imperfections, the wrongs, or the weaknesses in someone or something, and we point it out. We tell others. We talk about it. Now, we all criticize, and we all get criticized. And there's two types of criticism. There's constructive criticism and there's destructive criticism. Constructive criticism is actually a good thing. It's meant to help us improve. Like when a coach points out what we do wrong during practice so we can get better. Or when a teacher points out some things that we did wrong on an assignment so that we can end up doing well on a coming test. Or a friend tells you that your hair's kind of messed up so that you can go fix it and look good for that special someone. Constructive criticism is meant to be helpful and usually comes from a good place. Destructive criticism, on the other hand, is meant to tear down and hurt someone. Yeah, it still points out flaws and problems and mistakes, but there's no care for the improvement of the other person. For example, someone just calls you stupid because you failed a test, or they call you Butterfingers because you happen to drop a couple passes during the game. Or they could say something like, well, if you had practiced more, you wouldn't have messed up. Those things are still pointing out problems, but they're not helpful. So how can we deal with someone who's criticizing us? Well, first, let's start with constructive criticism. How do we handle that? That's simple, really. First, be resilient. Don't get upset. Sure, nobody likes to have their flaws, mistakes, imperfections brought to light and talked about, but it's going to happen. The thing is to understand that if someone is giving you constructive, helpful criticism, it's like good feedback. Think about it this way. They want to help you do better and improve. And the only way to do that is by acknowledging the mistakes and fixing them. So don't get upset and be open to that feedback. Second, think about what was said and examine how you can use that feedback to improve. What changes can you make? What can you do different next time? What can you learn from this? Do you need to get some extra help? But also consider this, even though it's never comfortable to hear about the things you do wrong, think about all the good things that'll happen from just making those couple of changes. What will you be able to accomplish if you do improve on a couple of those things? And third, remember the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated, no matter how they treat you first. What's that look like in this situation? You thank them. That's right. Whatever they say, thank them for taking the time to pay enough attention to you to try and help you improve. They could have just ignored you. They could have just let you keep on failing. They could have just let you go embarrass yourself. But they didn't. They took the time to point some things out, and you should be thankful.
Thank you. You love me. You really love me.
Now, all that's fine and great, but what about dealing with someone who's giving you destructive criticism? How are you supposed to handle that? They're telling you everything you're doing wrong, but they're also insulting you or nagging you about it, and they're not really trying to help you improve, and they don't really care if you get embarrassed. I don't care! So what do you do then? Well, it's going to sound crazy, but you do the same things. One, be resilient and don't get upset. No matter what they say, no matter how they say it, you stay calm and you don't get upset. Because, number two, you need to think of their criticism as helpful. Maybe they're not trying to be helpful, or maybe they're not trying to be kind, but figure out what you can take from it. If someone is using destructive criticism toward you, rather than focusing on the rude tone or the mean words that they're using, think to yourself, what can I take from this? Is there something I can improve on? Is there something that I could get better at? How can you use their criticism to improve and make yourself better? See, when you see it that way, it becomes all about making yourself the best you that you can be. And third, use that golden rule and thank them. Maybe they didn't mean it in a helpful way, but it doesn't matter. Thank them anyway. Sincerely thank them for taking the time to point those things out that you need to improve on. Tell them you're going to work on it so they don't have to worry about you anymore. But sincerely thank them for their help. Well, that's it, friends. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you want to learn more about the greatest social emotional learning, conflict resolution, and resilience training program for students that's out there today, you got to check out the Squabbles program. And if you want me to come and impact your school and community, either in person or virtually, let us know and we'll make it happen. I guarantee you'll be glad you did. And until next time, class is dismissed.